YG just pulled up in his Maybach one day and was just in my...
Welcome to ODP, yeah, you know we be keeping it real on Open Door Policy. I'm Jess.
And I'm Steph, and we're here with producer, songwriter, singer, rapper, Marc E. Bassy. Hey!
That was such a tight intro.
Yeah, did you like that?
Dude, yes. Nice.
And we actually put the OPP.
One day we were like, wait a second, Open Door Policy, and it came together, and we were just so stoked off it.
And I think it's nice because we're best friends, so we could just like fuck around and make.
Isn't an Open Door Policy like when your mom doesn't want to catch you like getting a blowjob in your room when you're in high school?
I mean,
so you have to have your door open.
Can be.
Probably.
So nothing can happen.
Yeah.
What else is Open Door Policy?
Well, we were thinking because we like to have
oh,
an
it just
open
means
form
like
of
anyone can
communication.
come through.
Or also,
Yes.
like, yeah, we can talk about anything.
You know, doors stay open in this house.
Yeah, you know that's right. Yeah.
So let's talk about what's happening today. We're here at House of Blues, and we're touring, or are touring with BB, but unfortunately she cannot make the show
So
tonight.
it's your show.
So
tonight.
this is your show. How are you feeling? What's going through your head?
Well, it was my show the whole time.
Exactly. Let's just set things straight.
No disrespect to BB. BB's awesome. But yeah, she's just sick. She'll be back. She just you know, it's really it gets when you go on tour, you get sick when you're a singer every time. I could like not be sick for 18 months or some shit and drink and party every single night and record every night. I sing more when I'm off the road because I'm recording so much. I sing for like 7 hours, but for some reason the stress of like everyday waking up,
Stop
like
and go, stop and go.
like just checking where your voice is at or something, it's like gets stressful and I feel like it knocks people out. And,
Yeah.
but she'll be back in a couple of days.
Cool. And you guys' next stop is
Texas.
Texas, so you guys have a couple days for her to recover and stuff. Cool.
But this is your first show ever in San Diego.
Well, I said that, but I played here not as Marc E. Bassy, but in a former version of my old band.
Oh yeah.
You know, thing I was in. So
How did that
I've been here before.
From you going into a band into being solo, how did that work out?
I was in a band called 2 AM Club. We were signed when I was like 20 years old.
Wow.
So it's a long time ago, and we had some success for like the first year and a half. It was 6 people. It was really difficult to
keep together.
We wrote every song together, 6 people, and that was the only way that was how I was introduced to creating music, was in that populated of a collaborative process.
How did that happen? Like, how did the band?
I didn't grow up making music, so I didn't know. When I used to write poems and raps and all that, and then I wanted to perform them, and that was my outlet to perform them, but I didn't realize that that's not how you write songs. You don't write songs with 6 people.
Yeah.
No one does that. Bands write songs, you know, people contribute little things, but at the end of the day, one person has to be struck with one idea. People can help you build around it, but a song doesn't just come from 5 people at once. And that kind of eventually just eroded everything that we really had as a band and made it harder and harder. And then we became a little less successful. We had like some success on our first single.
Yeah.
And then it did the natural thing, but we did good.
Was it kind of like a too many chiefs in the kitchen type of thing?
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Too
I was
many,
like chiefs
in the
then
kitchen.
Indians.
too many chiefs in the tribe. I got
It
you.
does take a village to
Yeah.
raise.
No, but it was everyone in that band was exceptionally talented, so I learned so much. And you know.
But I think though too, like in a band of 6 people, it's harder to get personal with yourself and make the song more personal because it's so many stories into one. And I think that's one thing that I know that I've read about you, how you're like super big on everything being like relatable and like an experience, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess I have a question regarding like your new album that's out. That's dope as fuck, by the way. So everyone, please go check out Gossip Colin.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, for real. Like, is there anything that inspired you or that pushes you to be so exposed with your fans, or is it just because you can write more about what you know? Like, why do you do that so much?
I think that I began performing like poetry, rapping, music as a method of like therapy, kind of. And my first favorite musician that inspired me in music was Tupac.
Ugh.
You know, like we all went to the same high school as Tupac, and he's from the Bay Area. And so
Yeah.
when I was like even 8 years old, once I started listening to him, before that I had listened to like classic soul music, you know, music my parents would play. And then some kids started listening to like rock, like Nirvana and stuff. And when I would listen to like, you know, distorted rock and roll guitar music, I never got any, I couldn't hear what they were saying. So I never really connected.
I feel that.
Yeah.
And I'm a very verbal person. You know, words are like music to me. So when I started listening to Tupac, I could just listen to it all day.
Yeah.
And everything he said was so poignant, and you could tell that he was like sticking up for himself,
Yeah.
for his people, for his struggle. And each song, even sometimes it's about, you know, his mom. Sometimes it's about his sister, or whatever. Sometimes it's about killing his enemies, but it's always like clear.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. At that time, I really latched onto that. Like if you're going through something, you can like fight against it just by making songs. And then I discovered Bob Marley. He did the same thing.
Yep.
So it's just, that's my that was my introduction into being a musician, and that's like my understanding of how to make music. It doesn't come from a technical place. It does nowadays, in terms of like arranging songs. I've learned all that stuff in a career, but the real inspiration for me is self-expression, and like through words. Like I don't play piano, I can't express myself really on a piano.
Yeah.
So it's always been about make sure each song is really making you feel like you're getting off. Like, okay, this
That's so
I'm
dope.
getting
No,
through this.
that's
you know?
how I felt when I was listening to your album, because it's more so like as you're listening, like you want to know how the story ended, or like what you're gonna say next, or like how this certain situation like ended up, which was like super cool.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to ask you, because like for people who don't know, like you wrote songs for other artists for a very long time, and because this is your first like fucking album, how did you pick who you wanted featured on what song? Like, did you have a specific sound and a specific person in mind, you know?
No. I mean, Gerald is just my homie. You know, he's from the Bay also. We've made like 6 songs together. So when I did You and Me, he was around a lot. I was actually working on his album as a writer. You know, just helping him out. I think this is good. I gave him a couple ideas. So that was already kind of there. YG just pulled up in his Maybach one day and was just in my studio randomly.
Let's make a song.
Dude, like most
That's
collabs
so sick.
just work like that then? Like you're just
A lot of them really do. Like I have a song
so
on French
funny.
Montana's album.
just because you were kicking it?
Yeah, just like in the same studio.
That's awesome.
Who else is on the album?
Kehani.
Like Kehani
Kehani.
Kehani came to my little studio when when I was just getting started on my thing, on my Marc E Bassy project. She had just gotten out of America's Got Talent or something, and she had a manager, and he was like, I got this girl, and I think she's really gonna be some, check her out. I saw a video of her, I was like, yeah, she looks pretty, like she sounds. This time she was like a kid still.
Okay.
She wasn't like sexy Kehlani. She was just like a kid. And this is maybe like, how long ago was that, Josh? 2013? Yeah. So
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah, so it was like a long time ago. And then I worked with her, and I was like, wow, that's the best person I've ever worked with.
No
Really?
way. Why?
First,
Yeah.
she just, her talent level, like, I'm so much older than her, and she was just as good as me at everything.
Really?
Obviously, you know, like, she could already construct harmonies. She wrote all her own stuff. She was maybe 17 at the time. To be able to, like, really write, like, there's no 17-year-olds that really write their own music. Like, even, they're lying when they say they do, you know?
Yeah.
I'm in the industry. I watch it. Like, they might write some things, but Kehlani's like, oh, you just give me 20 minutes. Wrote the song, you know, did her part, wrote the, you know, built out her harmonies, put ad-libs over my parts, and then was just, like, having fun dancing with her friends, and I was blown away. And it was funny, too, because my little cousin is an aspiring singer. She's probably a few years younger than Kehani, but she was there that day, and I was like, that's like
You like
that's what a girl looks like who's gonna become a famous singer.
Wow.
Sasha, and she saw that happen. So Kehani and me have been close since then. And then Kehani, I opened up for Kehani on her first tour ever,
Okay.
which was also my first tour. So we just always been close. Another Bay Area person.
Yep.
Yeah, I love how like I feel that Bay Area artists try to
Exactly.
support each other, and it's just a really cool bond, that I feel that. Like, do you agree with that?
Honestly, we have, of course. Like, it's not really that much different. Like, Problem has songs with Ty Dolla $ign and YG, and they do the same thing in every hood, every region. People look out for each other. I'm sure Kodak Black has songs with like 50, Southern rappers that you never heard of.
ATL.
Yeah, ATL, all that. But yeah, in the Bay, I think that we've just been getting more popular now. More people know about us. There's more Bay Area artists on tour buses running around. So it's just finally turning into a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Our region. I always listened to Bay Area music and thought it was the best. So for me, it never. I just feel like now everyone's finding out what I always have known.
Nice. Your album Gossip Column. How did that, or were there talks about the name being kind of something different, and then it being changed to that? I kind of heard some talks about it being a different name. And so, would you come?
The first name came to me in a dream.
What?
Which was I'm here, I'm good, I'm in exile.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a jacket that I got like
embroidered.
Yeah, like embroidered on there. So that was the first name. And then I had a song on the album called Gossip Columns.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then when I started to listen to the album, I just realized this album is very pop. It's still deep and cool, but it's not like a tripped out Frank Ocean like album. It's very to the point, and it's more concise than that, and it's just like gossip. Like every story is just like me kind of going through the ups and downs in Hollywood and just dealing with the scene. Really, that's what it's about, and how what that does to people and what it means, not just for people in LA, but everywhere.
Yeah.
And so Gossip Columns just felt like the perfect
name.
Like that's just weird. Me and Mac Shoot, my photographer, he's really into like branding, and he was just like this. I'm here. I'm good. I'm in exile, man. Like no one's gonna even remember that.
I see.
Like you gotta can we get like a stronger? So we just went with it.
Cool.
That's awesome.
And now looking back, you're proud of that.
Very. I'm very
nice.
juiced about that.
You wrote a song, one of my favorite songs, "Beat It" by Sean Kingston.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
And I actually found out when researching about you, and I jaw dropped. I said that is literally one of my favorite songs by him, and just in general because it's amazing. I want to know how that song came about. As far as, did you write it and it was going to be for Sean Kingston and Chris Brown, or did you know?
Yeah, like how do you pick?
Yeah, like how does that work as far as a songwriter?
Me and my bro Nick Knack were just sitting in his room in this house. He had the beat, and Sean came in. Sean liked a couple of my other songs, and Sean said he had a hook. If that can't even drive.
That's dope.
That's you
so
calling
cool.
my phone. So
Yes.
he had already had the hook, and then they were like, I just need some verses. I just wrote the verses. You've been out here looking for a guy like me. Yeah, I did that part. We did it with someone else too, and he was in the house. And then this was when I hadn't been in like the real music scene yet. I had just been like
writing still?
I'd been just touring in a band. Like I had never been around any like real big shit, And then that night the song was sounding so good. Sean was like, we should go to the studio over here. Chris Brown came in. Godly ass Chris Brown.
For real, like for real.
How was working with Chris Brown?
It was cool.
Yeah.
He was like really on. He was like fucked up when I saw him.
Yeah.
But watching him listen to music is insane. Like down to his little pinky finger, just everything is like popping and locking, and he just looks like a robot.
Yeah.
Like absorbing sound, and like the way that he just moves and responds to it.
It's insane.
Is unlike anything I ever saw.
That's awesome.
And I will say too, I always forget about this story, but I was playing him. He made us listen to 600 Chris Brown songs.
Yo, I hear that he like has a shit ton of music
an
that
album coming
nobody
out.
even knows about.
I mean, everyone does. Every
Yeah,
artist
that's
does.
true.
It's
That's
like
true.
really. We have 1,000 songs. Like everyone has so many songs because we do this shit all day.
Yeah.
And everyone,
That's all
you
I
could
do.
ask any artist, and in their camp, like people will have like, oh, he didn't even put out his best song that time.
Yeah.
It's just always like that. Ty Dolla $ign got the most song. Like I hear stuff he's done that I'm like,
Why isn't this
how?
out?
Yeah. Excuse me. So but I played Chris this one. I was trying to convince him to sing this like acoustic ballad thing, and he was like, "Bro, you gotta do this, man. Is this
No
you?"
way.
He was like, "Is this you? You gotta do this." And I remember being like, "Yeah, maybe I will." Like at some point, that's when I was only focused on writing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool
No.
Wait,
moment.
so is there a moment for you that you decided like I can't just write this? Like people need to hear me, you know?
Well, yes. What happened was, so then I was with my homie Nick Nack, he's a producer, big hit producer, one of my best friends, and we had been working on this girl, Mia,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
for like 2 years. Every day, working as hard as I could, me and him together as partners, and then
To write for her.
writing for her. And it was a struggle, and then I was just like 12 hours a day at least writing
Like
for her.
somebody else.
Yeah, but that was fine because I thought like she was gonna be Rihanna and I was gonna be the new Rihanna's principal songwriter
I feel you.
and like person. So it was like maybe the band thing didn't work. This is my new path. And then my manager was kind of like, no, this is not the right. We need to focus on this Marc E Bassy thing. And then me and Nick, while we were working on all the Pia stuff, he made Loyal. He made the beat
dope.
for Loyal, and I had nothing to do with it. And I was just like, it's a sign. Like if I was here with this person in this room every day for like over a year, 18 months, and then like the lightning that struck in the room had nothing to do with Pia, had nothing to do with me. So I was just kind of like, maybe this is a sign. You know, he went on a string with Chris, like they did Ayo with Tyga
Yeah.
and Loyal. And so it was just kind of clear that like maybe I should like push, you know, for my own, because as hard as I'm trying this so hard
Yeah.
and nothing's really happening. And then I just like fully went for it. I was like, fuck it,
That's so cool.
you know, so I just fully focused on myself and did my own music. And
How did you and BB link up for this tour?
we have like similar, our managers know each other.
Yeah.
It just kind of fit.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I love BB. She's an incredible. Oh, actually, it's because of G-Eazy.
Oh,
We
cool.
met on the
shit.
G-Eazy tour. You know, because she
Oh,
would do
yeah.
me, myself, and I would do you and me and some kind of drug.
Uh huh.
Love that song, by the way.
Thank you.
It's all dope.
Yeah, so she's just like a really dope chick, really talented. I don't, like musically, we're not the same like at all, and this tour is kind of like, you know, it's nice for our fans to be able to see each other, but I wouldn't say that we necessarily are like in the same
realm
lane or whatever. But makes smashes and is an amazing talent, so it's just like it just worked out. The
Yeah.
timing worked out too.
And
Yeah.
like one thing I think people should really know about your album is that your sound is so unique, and I think also because you just understand music, like you're able to fit so many different types of genres.
Yes.
So like I feel like this record like showcases how versatile you can be and like all these types of different vibes. Is there a reason why, or like do you just enjoy making all this type of music? Like how did you mix all that in?
Do you mind if I do this while I talk?
You know,
I'm
you
really sorry.
totally-
My
that's
cut-
fine.
What is it?
I just cut my finger hella bad. and
Oh
it's
shit! Is
really-
it rubbing alcohol?
Yeah, it's just a little
Oh,
like.
do you?
But
Oh no.
No, it's fine. I'm just keep looking at it and it's looking back at me.
A reflection.
I don't like it. Yeah, I just love all kinds of music. Honestly, that's like a weakness that I had on this album that I in the future, when I make projects, I would probably like to have a little more cohesion throughout all the songs. But you know, I like coming up with chords on the piano and singing soulful songs, and I like just getting off sometimes and talking that shit. So
That's dope.
Well,
I get to do both. Like, think about, like, I like Post Malone a lot. Like, he does that too. That's kind of the future. There's no boxes anymore. No one cares.
Yeah.
Everyone listens to everything.
I think so too.
People even listen to country now. People used to always say, I listen to everything but country.
Yeah. Now it's, everyone loves country.
That used to be the standard,
You're
like,
right.
what kind of music do you like? Bro, I like everything but opera and country.
For real. Opera gets no love. And that shit is lit as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. But nowadays people understand, like, music has become genreless. It's just, you're popping or you're not. And so for me, we got like full-blown acoustic songs on my album, you know, kind of soul. My favorite song on the album is Don't Let Her Go.
Nice.
It's a piano, like just a 6/8, like like kind of vibey piano joint.
Yeah.
But we also have, you know, full-blown plot twists on there too. So.
True. Cool. Before we end, can we play a little game with you?
Yes.
It's called This or That. You're just gonna choose one.
Okay.
All right. Just give me a sec while Jess.
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead and start.
All right, cool.
You ready?
Yep.
Prince or Michael?
Prince.
Whoa. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay, for Doritos, Cool Ranch or like the original red?
Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
Def Jam or Murder Inc?
Def Jam.
Snapchat or Instagram?
She's like neither.
That's hard for me,
No,
honestly.
Instagram.
For sure.
Instagram.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas. I mean, I could talk about that for a whole entire podcast, but the difference between Jay-Z and Nas to me is that Jay-Z had the better career. He won the big movie of life, got the baddest wife of all time, all that shit.
Yes.
But to me, just personally, Illmatic is like the singular greatest album of all time of any genre, even more than a Tupac album. And I don't even like Nas more than Tupac in any way, but for some reason, Illmatic is the most inspiring, most beautiful thing I ever heard. And an 18-year-old black kid from the fucking gutter in the projects made that. And you know, it's like, I feel like shit like that doesn't happen anymore. Like, that's like a real young genius made that album, and I feel like that should happen more. And Jay-Z made Reasonable Doubt, but he made it when he was like 26.
Yeah.
There's just something about Illmatic that when I listen to it, it makes me happy that I'm an American. It like makes me patriotic, you know. So for that reason, I gotta go with Nas.
Yo, we'll end on that for sure.
That was so sick.
Thank you so much for your time and like talking to us. Like, it's so cool.
Anytime.
Yeah, good luck tonight. I'll be there watching.
Okay,
So
thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yay!
Thank you.
Cool.
Kill it tonight.
I shall.